I've been getting a lot of questions from people about rates and what fair rates of pay in voiceover are, especially for beginners. You guys have heard me talk about not taking on low budget jobs, not giving it away for free, and making sure that you are working for fair market value in voiceover, which is very, very important. However, some of you made some really great points, which is I didn't really explain what those fair market rates are. So we're going to talk just a little bit about that today. Something really important to understand is that most professional voiceover actors don't work for less than $100. There might be the occasional exception. There might be times where you decide to take a non-union job for less than $100. Maybe it's a really, really small market commercial for $75 or $100. Maybe it's a really quick message on hold for $50 to $75. But for the most part, that's about it. We really don't honor those rates. People who've been doing it a long time, certainly, you can't even get them out of bed for less than 150. And even that's kind of pushing it most days. But it's important for beginners to understand that. Have a basic standard, a basic platform. $25, no, absolutely not. $35, no, same thing. So, I mean, $100 I feel like should be your bare minimum of payment for just about anything. Most non-union voiceover work for professionals starts in the $100 to $250 neighborhood. The majority of voiceover actors that you're going to meet who are professionals, who are making a living doing this every day, their job minimum is going to be somewhere in between those numbers. And I mean, it might vary a bit based on their experience or the exact types of voiceovers that they do and the types of clients that they serve. But for the most part, it's a pretty good starting place. It's not only experience that makes us valuable in this industry. We have equipment, we have overhead, we have all of these different costs associated with what we do and how we get to the point of being experts at this. And you have to make those costs back. I always explain it to folks this way. Someone who's just coming out of dental school, who's brand new, and who is really just a very recent graduate to the dentistry field, is still going to charge as much as, if not slightly more than, someone who's been doing it for 20 or 30 years with an established practice, because they're just getting going. They're not worth less money because they're a new dentist. If anything, some of their skill sets, some of the techniques that they've been taught, some of the newer technologies are at their disposal. They might even be worth a little bit more. So at the very least, you're worth the same as the rest of us. Don't forget that. Union voiceover work starts in the $250 to $500 range. And I always recommend and advocate that non-union actors look to the union rates to help them determine what exactly a fair rate of pay is for a job. That's really, really important stuff. Always using the union rates to help you align. Whatever's going on with SAG-AFTRA is going to give you a really good indication of where you should be pricing anyway. But typically, yeah, union jobs have a starting point of $250 to $500. And remember, you've got things like session fees versus the actual usage of material, which can make those rates skyrocket really, really fast. Larger projects, higher exposure commercials, major markets, nationals, regionals, things of that nature are going to be jobs that minimum are $1,000 or more. A lot of voiceover actors, and I mean a lot, average $800 to $1,200 per booking. Okay, and some of their jobs go way, way, way higher than that. We are an industry that definitely comes along with a price tag that's indicative of all of the training, the equipment, the years of experience we have, and certainly that recognizes us as quality, skilled voiceover actors. A lot of beginners are sometimes shocked when they come to realize that there are projects with budgets up into the thousands. There are, on a very regular basis. Most talent agents won't even take a job if it's not at least $1,000. And one of the things you have to realize is that a lot of your experience with regards to rates has to do with the kinds of exposure that you've had to particular jobs. If all the jobs that you've ever seen are on pay-to-play or on online casting sites, then your view might be a little bit skewed as to what's really going on out there, because you're only seeing one small piece to the puzzle. When it comes to talent agents, which is one of the reasons why it's so competitive, and it can be difficult to get an agent, it takes time, but it's one of the reasons why they're so valuable to voiceover actors and what we do, is that typically speaking, your agent is going to take a job with the understanding that there has to be enough meat on the bone. There has to be enough room for them to have a percentage and make money. If they charge 10% of what you earn, well, 10% of $1,000 is only $100. They can have to do a whole lot of legwork and paperwork and phone calls and negotiations to get to that $100. They would much rather be working for $2,500 or $5,000 or $10,000 for the total number of the job. That's where their focus is those big budget projects. So again, you have to realize that for those of us who've worked with agents for many years, have multiple agents, which you can do, we're operating with those budgets and those numbers in mind. So when we see really low budget stuff, we get kind of turned off by it and don't really want anything to do with it, and neither should you. I'm not alone in this want to help standardize the rates of our industry and make sure that none of us are inadvertently driving the rates down for voice acting as a whole. So there's plenty of us that are out there talking about this and championing for it. One of the more recent companies is the Global Voice Acting Academy. This organization has been working really hard to help open up this discussion, and one of the things that they've been doing is publicly posting rate sheets that all voice actors can take advantage of and, again, use to help them determine whether or not they're charging fair market value. So I do recommend that you check out their website. And for more on this topic, of course, there's my other videos and the info on GabrielleMistico.com. Thanks for watching.